what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning. Please join me in the invocation. On behalf of all here and all the faiths and beliefs present, we remember all those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. And we honor the heroism of all those that rushed to come to the aid of the innocent victims of those heinous attacks. Our hearts and souls go out to those who lost their lives for their fellow citizens that fateful day. And we ask for the protection of all the first responders who risk their lives for us every day, and for the soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen who protect us around the clock and around the world. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Justin Joyner, and I serve as a student trustee. This morning, we have come together to remember the tragedy that took place in our country 20 years ago when our way of life, our very freedom, came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist attacks. We are privileged to have Major Misty Strickland of Nash County Sheriff's Office with us today to share her thoughts about that tragic day. Major Misty Strickland has been married for the past 25 years to Tim Strickland. She also has two children, Casey Strickland and Parker Allen Strickland. Major Strickland began her career as a paratrooper in the United States Army, serving from 1987 to 1997. After her military service, she began her civilian career in law enforcement. She joined the ranks of the Nash County Sheriff's Office in 1997, and in her more than 24 years with the Sheriff's Office, Strickland has served as both an undercover narcotics officer, a general narcotics investigator, patrol deputy, school resource officer at Southern Nash Middle School and Southern Nash High School, juvenile investigator, major case investigator, patrol sergeant, patrol lieutenant, and investigative lieutenant. Major Strickland is currently part of Nash County Sheriff's Office command staff, and she is major over field operations as well as school resource officers. Strickland's education includes a Bachelor's of Arts degree in criminal justice with a minor in sociology from the University of North Carolina at Pembroke and a graduate degree in psychology. She has completed her graduate degree in criminal justice administration from the University of Louisville. Strickland also graduated with an honors from the 138th Administrative Officers Course Police Executive Leadership Graduate Program via Southern Police Institute at University of Louisville, where she served as a class secretary. Strickland currently serves as the National Secretary for the Southern Police Institute Alumni Association. She has received numerous awards and commendations over the years, including NC Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate and the North Carolina Advanced Service Award, where the American Legion District National Level Enforcement Officer of the Year Award in 2013 and in 2016 Hero Award from Bailey's Jewelry Store. In addition to her service with the Sheriff's Office, Strickland volunteers with several community organizations. She is an active member of the American Legion Post 110 in Nashville. She attends Stony Hill Free Will Baptist Church and is a youth leader. She regularly volunteers at Ronald McDonald and various community events, such as Meals on Wheels and the Nash County Sheriff's Christmas. She also collects hotel toiletries for homeless and elderly population. Major Strickland is committed to Nash County and proudly serves each citizen with honor, compassion, and diligence. We are also honored to have with us today K-9 Daco and his handler, Lieutenant David Walker. Lieutenant Walker has been employed with the Nash County Sheriff's Office for 13 years. He began his career as a detention officer assigned to the Nash County Jail for the first 6 months and then transitioned to the Uniform Patrol Division, where he currently supervises a platoon and holds the rank of lieutenant. He graduated from Coastal Plains Law Enforcement Management Institute in early 2021. Lieutenant Walker is also a member of the K-9 Division and is assigned K-9 Daco. Daco is a 7-year-old Dutch Shepherd who was born in Europe and then transferred to Southern Police K-9 in Montmire. NC. Daco is a fully patrol K-9, meaning he is proficient in tracking, evidence recovery, apprehension, handler protection, and narcotic detection. Together, Lieutenant Walker and Daco have located several suspects, missing persons, evidentiary items, and kept a considerable amount of narcotics off the streets of Nash County and surrounding areas. After the 9/11 attacks, K-9 teams searched the wreckage of crash sites for survivors and comforted responders and families of victims. These four-legged responders have made a difference along with their handlers and dedication and specialized expertise during rescue and recovery efforts. While Daco did not participate in response to the 9/11 attacks, we invite him here today to stand in honor of the hundreds of dogs that did respond and made a lasting impression on people around the world. Please join me in welcoming Major Misty Strickland, K-9 Daco, and Lieutenant David Walker.
Good morning. I want to welcome each of you to this ceremony today, and I also want to thank Dr. Lou Honeycutt and Ms. Kara Deans with Nash Community College for having me as a guest speaker. I am very humbled. I would first like to talk about today's date. 20 years ago, on September 10th, 2001, is the last day I recognized the America I grew up in. On September 10th, we spent the day doing our normal routines, and we went to sleep that night, not realizing we would wake up on September 11th to a very different country. We were unsuspecting and soon realized terrorism was very real. If asked, most people can tell you exactly where they were and what they were doing when our own backyard was attacked on that infamous day. I was on maternity leave with my 20-day-old son, who is now 20 years old and serving in the United States Army. I was in my living room, feeding him and watching the TV. I could not process the images I was seeing, and I did not realize at first we were under attack. The TV soon gave way to our first responders running toward the towers and leading people away from the devastation. Our first responders were tested beyond anything we could have ever imagined. Their actions reminds me of one of my favorite passages in the Bible, which is Isaiah 6:8. It states, "Also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and whom will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me." The first responders did not hesitate, and they risked their own lives to save others. They all answered the call, "Send me, I shall go." The timeline of the events that day did not give way to a lot of planning. However, the quick thinking and prior training of the first responders saved innocent lives. Between 8:46:40 and 10:03:11 a.m., let me revisit what transpired in that short time span. 8:46:40, Flight 11 crashed into the north face of the North Tower, Tower 1 of the World Trade Center, between floors 93 and 99. 9:03:02, Flight 175 crashes into the south face of the South Tower, Tower 2 of the World Trade Center, between floors 77 and 85. At 9:37:46, Flight 77 crashes into the western side of the Pentagon. At 9:57, the passengers aboard Flight 93 begin a revolt against the hijackers in an attempt to take back the plane. At 10:03:11, Flight 93 is crashed by its hijackers as a result of fighting in the cockpit 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. The 9/11 Commission believed that Flight 93's target was either the United States Capitol building or the White House in Washington, D.C. 19 Al-Qaeda members, terrorists, hijacked those 4 commercial airplanes, and doing so launched a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist attacks, the single largest loss of life, resulting in a foreign attack on American soil, thus forever changing the landscape of America. The morning of September 11th, 2001 remains one of the most pivotal points in American history. 9/11 was a very deliberate, very coordinated, evil attack on what makes us a powerful nation, and the attack was on our freedom and the American way of life. The terrorists tried to break us, but the American spirit prevailed. We came out strong, we came out fighting, but most importantly, we came out united. We were not black, white, brown, Asian, Hispanic, or any other color or ethnicity. We were Americans, and we were praying Americans. We called upon God to help us. Our churches were full. We had love and compassion for our neighbors, and strangers were helping strangers. We have since lost our way a bit, so I challenge each of us to remember how we came together in the days after. I want us to remember and to never forget the sacrifices of those on September 11th, 2001. We can do this by being better neighbors, better friends, and stand proud as Americans. We can honor each victim and pay tribute to their ultimate sacrifice by also respecting our first responders. We can never forget, and we never need to take our first responders for granted. The climate of today is trying to minimize the work and the need for our first responders. Do not entertain the current rhetoric, because I want to stress, when everyone else is running away from the danger, you will forever have first responders running toward it. It is estimated that 25,000 people were saved that day by the first responders because they chose to run toward the danger. They risked their own lives to save others. First responders are the line between order and chaos. We must support our first responders, and we must work together to keep our community safe. It is each of us who make this country great, and we need to set politics aside and come together as one. We need to stand up for what is right, what is honorable, and we must never take our freedoms for granted. By doing these things, we will be honoring the memory of more than 400 first responders, including over 60 law enforcement officers and 75 servicemen and women who perished on 9/11, as well as the more than 300 working dogs that took part in the search, rescue, and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Out of those 300 canines, a Labrador Retriever named Sirius paid the ultimate price. We also want to pay tribute to the nearly 3,000 children who lost a parent that day. Their lives would never be the same. I would like to end with a very familiar verse, John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. I stand before you today and say, God bless this great country of ours, and God bless the families left behind. May the families have peace, knowing this grateful nation will never forget. Again, let us pledge to do our best to honor their sacrifice by collectively standing together, loving one another, and outshining the hate that was meant to destroy us. In closing, let us have a moment of silence for not only our first responders, brothers and sisters, but let us pause for all of the 2,977 lives lost due to evil. And let us resolve to be stronger, to be better, to do better, and be united as one. Let us pause. Thank you.
My name is Devin Brazel, and I serve as the Secretary for the Student Government Association. We would like to thank Major Strickland, K-9 Daco, and Lieutenant Walker for coming here today to remember one of the most tragic days in our nation's history. And to honor those who lost their lives that day. We ask that you remember the courage of our policemen and women, firefighters, and EMS who rushed into burning towers to bring thousands to safety. The only way we will triumph over terrorism and conquer the senseless tragedy of that horrible day is by celebrating the kindness of the human spirit. Today, as we remember those lost, I ask you to join me in faith that the good will not only endure, but that they will prevail. In closing, I would like to thank everyone for being here today and invite you to join us in the multi-purpose room for refreshments. Please allow our servicemen and women to go through the line first. It is because of their service and sacrifice that we are gathered here today. Also, please be mindful that although Daco is incredibly handsome, he's working and not approachable while on duty. Thank you.